If in the other stories, Hansda does not take an activist position or the position of the spokesperson of the Adivasis, that changes with this last story, which is also the titular story. The title itself tells us of protest of the Adivasi who refuses to abide by the position, the subject position offered by the state itself. That the Adivasi has to dance, and he point blank refuses that Adivasi will not dance. And the story is set in Chota Nagpur. The story is about a person called Mangal Murmu, who used to be a farmer and a dancer, Adivasi dancer, who's continued to cultivate his cultural forms like dancing. And he's invited one day because the president of India is going to come to open a power project nearby their place. But thanks to that power project, his relatives, his daughters' houses are getting displaced. And because of that, Mangal Murmu wants to protest, and Mangal Murmu wants to request the president to intervene to stop this displacement, but he's obviously not allowed, and therefore he stops uh, to dance, and he chooses this space to talk about the problems that Santals have faced, the violence, the persecution, the displacement that they have faced from the nation, both from historical times as well as from the post-colonial nation also. And this story is an explicit critique of the post-colonial state, and it's narrated from Mangal Murmu's perspective itself. The At the heart of the story is the metaphor of the dance, which symbolizes cultural expression, freedom, and identity. And through that metaphor, the story shows the ongoing struggles of Adivasi people, their marginalization, and how everyone has exploited them. If in the last story we were talking about how in the urban space, or if you are even an upwardly mobile Adivasi, it's not guaranteed that you will not face discrimination. Here, Mangal Murmu tells us of the stories of discrimination we probably may have read in newspaper, may have come across in our lives. He verbalizes it. Uh, the story starts with the exploitation, tales of exploitation, and questions to the nation, the promises that the nation made to them, calls the nation all the way to Delhi from Bharat Disom, this kind of bringing in the Adivasi way of representation itself. That if he was allowed, everyone would have heard of their complaints. They would have come to know of our suffering. Then perhaps something would have been done. Then perhaps our president would have agreed to what I said to him. But they did not share my plan. I did not share my plan with anyone. I went ahead alone like a fool, and they grabbed me, beat me to the ground, and put their hands in my mouth and gagged me. I felt so helpless and foolish. But we Santals are fools because they have been exploited, they have been taken for a ride, people have taken away their resources and have made money from it. So he says that, but we Santals are fools, aren't we? All the Adivasis are fools. Down the years, down the generation, all the Dikus have taken advantage of our foolishness. Tell me if I am wrong. I only said the Adivasi will not dance anymore. What is wrong with that? We are like toys. Someone presses on button and turns a key in our backside, and we Santals start beating rhythms on our tamak and tumdak, or start blowing tunes to our tirio while someone snatches away our very dancing ground. Tell me if I am wrong. That the Santals have been used strategically by the nation. They are when we need to show that the nation is diverse, that we have people who are from various faiths, various cultures, various ways of life, we show the tribals. If we want to show the cultural diversity of our nation, we also include Adivasi dance. But we include Adivasi dance without including the Adivasi themselves in some way, is what Mangal Murmu complains. Because he says that you want our dance while you are taking, at the same time, taking away our very dancing ground, that is their land, their cultures, all of it. And that idea of displacement is at the heart of this. But more than that, the question that he's asking is of the nation, that the kind of promises that you had made to us and what has happened to us. That and then that question comes again and again, that I did not expect that like this will happen in front of the best man of our country, our president. He is from Birbhum, the next door district. His ancestral house is there, and Birbhum, where Robin Haram, this is a reference to Rabindranath, the poet of India. So you can see Mangal Murmu mobilizing the metaphors of the nation, that look, we are from neighboring spaces. So we are part of the same imagined community, if you take proximity also into account, or part of the nation because the president is here. The president represents the nation itself. But no one hears our plight. No one is there to hear uh, our misery. They should listen to our misery. And this trope is again brought in later in the story itself, where he again criticizes that patriotic songs were playing in Hindi, were playing from the loudspeakers placed at all corners of the field. Bharat Mahan. Someone was shouting from the stage, trying to rouse the audience, his voice amplified by the numerous loudspeaker. What Mahan? He's asking, how does the country become great if we have disenfranchised a significant part of our population? A population which has been there forever. I wondered, which great nation displaces thousands of its people from their homes and livelihoods to produce electricity for cities and factories? He's asking questions that hit right at the question of nation itself. As Parth Chatterjee would talk about, we are confronted with nation and its fragments. He's talking about the question of nation itself, that like we are celebrating through, and that's why he also invokes Rabindranath when the national anthem thinks about this great country called Bharat. Do we have space in that? Are we part of that country itself? And he says that how are we part of that country when we are being displaced? And on our land, you exploit our land to bring happiness and better lives for other people staying far away from here. And Adivasis, and we don't have jobs. What jobs? And Adivasi farmers' job is to farm. Which other job should he be made to do? Become a servant in some billionaire's factory built on the land that used to belong to the very Adivasi just a week earlier. So these are the kind of questions that Mangal Murmu keeps asking. That we have been left in precarious conditions. We have been left landless. Just a week back, I was the owner of that land. Now I become a lowly employee, a servant on something that is built on my land. And that leads to questions of ownership, that who owns these lands and these forests, because tribals do not fit into our projects of modernity, our projects of legal jurisdictional systems. So, are they not supposed to own the things that they have owned for generations just because they cannot produce a paper or something of that sort? That's what Mangal Murmu is asking, those very vital, important questions here. And those questions hit at the core of the project of nation itself, and where he says that nobody has actually cared for us. It's not only the government but also every part of the civil society itself. And he says that he's from Matiajor, Amrapada block of Pakur district. Not many Santals farm anymore because their land has been taken away. Only a few are left of us are left with farmland. Most of it has been acquired by a mining company. It's a rich company. It's not that we did not fight the acquisition, we did. While we were fighting, this political leader came, that political leader came, the Kiristan sister came, and the Kiristan father came apparently to support us, but we lost. And after we lost, everyone left. That no one is there for us now. Only when it suited everyone's motives, ideologies, everyone was here. They had all gathered here. But everybody left the moment we lost the case. It's not only the mining company, but also the Kiristan sisters. Again, we are told about the missionaries. The Kiristan sister came, the Kiristan father came, apparently to support us, but everyone left. Only the leaders went back to Ranchi, Delhi, wherever they had to go. The political leaders who also had come, smelling a political opportunity, they also went to Ranchi or Delhi or wherever they had to go. The Christians returned to their missions, but our land did not come back. Everyone benefited in some way or the other, but we did not benefit anything from this. We actually lost our land. So, the idea of displacement goes again, is a recurrent theme through it, that how they have been robbed of their land, and it's how this robbing does not make any noise or any news even. And then we are told again and again of this, that around this, the coal mine has taken everything. After all, they already have our land, they are stealing our coal, and they don't want to snatch away from our right to re-steal it. That these people are stealing everything. Santals don't understand business. We get coal easy, yet we don't charge much for it. We only have enough food for clothes and thing. But this Jola, you call them Muslim, we call Jola, they know the value of coal. They know the value of money. They charge the price that is best for them. A decade earlier, he says how everyone has colluded to it. So, not only the Hindus who have done it or the Christian missionaries, you can see the Muslims also exploiting them. A decade earlier, when the Santals of Matiajur were beginning their annual journey to share crop in the farms of Namal, it's from the November is the month of migration. 4 Jola families turned up from nowhere and asked us for shelter. A poor lot. They looked impoverished as us, perhaps worse. In return, they offered us their services. They told us that in our absence, they would look after our fields and farms, and for them, for a share of the produce. We trusted them. They started working on our fields and built 4 huts in a distant corner of Matiajur. Today, that small cluster of 4 huts has grown into a tola of more than 100 houses, not huts. While we Santals in our own village still live in mud houses, each Jola house has at least one brick wall and one cemented yard. This tola is now called the Jola Tola of Matiajur. Once Matiajur used to be exclusively Santal village. Today, it's a Santal Tola and a Jola Tola. So then he asks, where are our Santal leaders? Where are our leaders? They have all gone away. And I was once a farmer. My son's farm now. The eldest stays back in our fields while the other two migrate seasonally to Namal along with their families. But I don't have now land to till. All the land has been taken away. So we don't have any land and we have been thoroughly displaced now. So as a result of this display, and everyone has participated in this displacement. If we go back to the entire if we go back to the first instance of it where he was talking about, he says that on the but our land did not come back to us. On the other hand, a Christian sister was killed and our boys were implicated in her murder. The papers, the media, everyone blamed our boys. They reported that the Christian sister was fighting for our rights and yet our boys killed her. No one bothered to see that our boys had been fighting for our land and rights even before the Christian sister came. Why would they kill her just because our boys did not have reporter friends? Their fight went unseen while the Christian sister with her network of missionaries and their friends got all the attention. Now that our boys are in jail on false charges of murder, who will fight for us? It tells us that like we do not have the land, we do not have means to speak to the nation, the state, no one, we don't have the methods, the media is not with us. Everyone has accumulated power but us. Where are the missionaries and their friends now? If the missionaries were our well-wishers when we are fighting us, why did they run away? Kill a well-known Christian sister, accuse a few unknown Santal boys fighting for their lands of her murder and move both the obstacles, the Christian sister and the Santal boys, out of the way, grab as much land as possible, build as many mines as possible, dig out all the coal. This is how the coal company works. Is this a scenario so difficult to understand that the media does not get it? And he says that the coal miners have taken all parts of our land, others have been taken away by stone merchants. All the Marwadi, Sindhi, Mandal, Bhagat, Muslim, they have all taken our land upside down, inside out with their heavy machinery. They sell it to places like Delhi, Noida and Punjab. Because of this kind of displacement, the culture is under erasure and he draws our attention to it. For our education, our children are at the mercy of either those free government school where teachers only come only to cook the midday meal, or those Christian missionary schools which ask us to stop worshipping our Bongaburu and start revering Jisu and Mariam. If our children refuse, the sisters and fathers tell our boys that their Santal names Hopna, Som, Singrai are not good enough. They are renamed David, Michael, Christopher and whatnot. And if that is not enough, some Muslims barge into our home, sleep with our women, and we Santal men cannot do anything. So, we, along with displacement, we see erasure of their way of life and also a control over their body. So, we see erasure materially and metaphorically and literally happening. They are being erased from their gown. They are being their cultures are being erased so that the next generation does not know who's Bongaburu, who are their ancient gods and the ways of praying. Their names are being erased and they are being given all these anglicized names. But what can we do? Everyone is interested us, and that's why he says that everyone is interested us only strategically, and we are only made a toy in everyone's hand. And that's why he says that the rich Hindus living in Pakur town are interested in our land. They are interested in making us sing and dance at their weddings. If they come to help us, they will say the Santals need to stop eating cow meat and pig meat. We need to stop drinking handi. They too want to make us for our Sarna religion, convert us into Safahor and swell their numbers to become more valuable vote banks. Safahor, the pure people, the clean people, but always certainly not as clean as pure as themselves for sure, always a little lesser than they are. So, every community is trying to exploit them. That's what seems to be Mangal Murmu's complaint, and through that complaint he brings the force of the state's neglect towards the Santals, the Adivasis, and the perennial problem for Santals. The story is an elegy for the Santal way of life, as a way of life where they once sang and danced. And he says that he still maintains a dance troupe, not a regular one, because of this kind of displacement. So their way of life has been constantly and forever changed because of these kinds of displacement that are there. You can see the story goes back and forth between the November is a month of migration, that story that we read earlier, and we are told about these changes that have uprooted them. All that has changed now. First, the member of my troop are old, some have died, many have migrate seasonally. The ones who remain hum songs, sing to each other, but a stage performance, no, not again. Like me, they are even tired, disillusioned with everyone, with the Diku, with the state. All our certificate shields, what did they give us? The Diku children go to schools and colleges, get education, jobs. What do we Santals get? We Santals can sing and dance, and we are good at our art. Yet, what has our art given us? Displacement and tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, thanks to the mining, which has made them made them eat black rice, as he will tell us. They don't have a life. They, even within that, to preserve that way of life, he has been putting new troops, new dancers, and he has to keep doing this. And he presents to us how the nation has exploited that cultural resource also. Uh, even which Diku pays attention to our music. Even at those high profile functions, most Diku just wait for our performance to end. Yet be an athletic meet, some inauguration, any function organized by someone high and mighty in the name of Adivasi culture and Jharkhandi culture. It is necessary to make Adivasi dance. Even Bihari, Bengali, Udiya say that Jharkhand is there. They call their culture, music, dance superior to those of us Adivasis. Why don't they give their women to sing and dance in open grounds in the name of Jharkhandi culture? For every benefit in job and education, whatever, the Diku are quick to call Jharkhand their own. Let the Adivasi go to hell. But when it comes to displaying Jharkhandi culture, the onus of singing and dancing is upon the Adivasi alone. So, the strategic manipulation of the Adivasi, the silencing of the Adivasi from the entire space is what Hansda seems to be pointing again and again. And that's what Mangal Murmu wanted to set right, and that's why he wanted to tell the president of their plight, and he starts his speech. Instead of dancing, he wants to say something, and he says, Johar Rashtrapati Babu, we are very proud and happy that you have come to our Santal Pargana. We are very proud that we have been asked to sing and dance before you, and welcome you to our place. We'll sing and dance before you, but tell us, do we have a reason to sing and dance? We see the angst, the anger that has been simmering in Mangal Murmu for generations. He gives voice to what generations of Adivasis have faced, the exploitation that they have been subjected to, the dehumanizing treatment at the hands of every community that they have been subjected to. That's why he says that, do we have a reason to sing and dance? Do we have a reason to be happy? You will now start building the power plant, and this power plant will be the end of us all, the end of all Adivasis. These men sitting beside you have told you that this power plant will change our fortunes. But these same men have forced us out of our homes and villages. We have nowhere to go, nowhere to grow our crops. How can this power plant be good for us? How can we Adivasis dance and be happy? Unless we are given back our homes and land, we will not sing and dance. We Adivasis will not dance. The Adivasi will not. And his mic is taken away from him. He's probably gagged. He's restrained. Therefore, he cannot complete the sentence. But in this incompleteness, he has already said so much. It's a stark reminder of the fragments of the nation. And in bringing that voice, Hansda tells us of the realities that plague the Santal way of living. Many Santals who are forced to give up their homes, their lands, how can they be happy? And as a nation, the idea is of pursuit of happiness, to think about the American way of independence, American way of the society, the American ambition itself. If we think about that, then we are asked to dance and celebrate in front of you, but then how can we be happy when our land is taken away? Those questions are at the center of Hansda Sowvendra Shekhar's world here. If we read more of Hansda's overview, you will see that there are stories that come from very different, varied experiences of 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 Adivasi life. A doctor by profession, Hansda writes stories in English itself, and through, you can see, through these kinds of words and idioms and the peculiar Adivasi way of speaking, he brings the Adivasi life into Indian writing English, and thereby uh, intervenes in a very significant way into Indian writing in English. If we saw Bhimayan in the previous classes, which was asking us to pay attention to the Dalits, in these set of lectures, we also saw another segment of Indian society which has been crushed by everyone else, which has been exploited by everyone else, because everyone else has thought that they are not part of the society itself. Hansda gives vein to those pangs, those miseries, those anxieties, those negotiations of the Santals, of the Adivasis in modern India.